Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toy Escapades channel in Malaysia. Some official images have turned up online of the incoming Snake Man wave for MOTU Origins Wave 11. I've covered or shared of the wave from STCC 2022 previously on the channel, but this is the first time that we're seeing clear official images of the set. And special thanks to Jay Cochran and the team at Toy News International for putting the images out on their website. Do check out their site, they are without a doubt one of the best platforms for action figure coverage. Of course, we'll need to get these figures in hand to evaluate them properly, but seeing the close-ups is leaving me with some thoughts. I can't say that the Snake Armor He-Man is a highly sought-after version of the character, but his original 2002 figure is one of the rarest figures out there and remains so 20 years later. Now, this is mainly due to its very limited distribution in some international markets only. The design is interesting and does add a lot of newly incorporated elements into the armor and accessories. That being said, looking at the close-up of this Origins version, I do feel very disappointed with the translation. They skimped on a lot of the details that were on the original armor, the paint applications look very bland, and you know what, I'm starting to think that a lot of the designs that were meant for the larger 2002 figure bodies were not meant to be forced onto these smaller Origins figures. Also, I kind of feel like He-Man here looks really bloated. Now, I know that we're going to be getting at least one Rulers of the Sun character in every single MOTU Origins wave moving forward. But here's the thing, okay? I didn't expect it. It's just that Boltman here looks better than the Snake Armor He-Man. I mean, he does. I mean, yeah, look, he still looks like an 80s pop singer who's about to put on maybe a futuristic light show performance and perhaps break out into a cover of Rhythm of the Night. Remember that one? But that's not such a bad thing either. Although I can't see anything of the comic book that's included in this wave. I mean, usually you can see at least some of the words that make up the title of the book. But with all of the stickers in the front for every package now, and also with the snake skin deco on the top of the packaging, it's getting impossible to see anything. But yeah, that being said, it's safe to assume that Boltman here will be the main star of the comic, just like Digitino before him in the last wave. Now, at this point, any figure that turns up from Rulers of the Sun is going to be subjected to a ton of criticism and flack from the community. A lot of people are saying that these are forced diversity inclusions. I don't really believe so because these are characters that were made all the way back in the 80s, sometime like 40 years ago, way before the current climate that we see in media and pop culture. Speaking as somebody who has actually purchased the figures and reviewed them on the channel, I've always highlighted the fact that the figures from the Rulers of the Sun characters are in fact very high quality made figures, and in fact the accessories that come with them, as I said, are of a higher quality than those that you find in normal Origins figures. For some reason, the quality has always been stepped up when it comes to the characters from Rulers of the Sun. I've always mentioned that, and I believe that even though myself personally, there's some characters there that I may not feel like wanting to pick up, and I begrudge the fact that I have to pick them up because they're included in the particular wave, and I don't really have a choice to pick and choose usually when the figures come in. But that being said, I can see how the figures have a lot to offer, and I do believe at some point when all of them are actually put together, when they put out like this entire range of Rulers of the Sun characters and you got them all together in one display shaft, I do think that they're going to make for a pretty interesting display. And when you think about it, there isn't really anything that's too outlandish or over the top when it comes to these characters as compared to what you would normally find in a standard average Masters of the Universe figure. I remember the last time when I did the video on the Snake Man coverage from SDCC, I was struggling so hard to try and get a screenshot of the Ratlaw package from the front, just to use it in the video. And now that we actually have the official photos, right, I just gotta say that Ratlaw really isn't the kind of character that looks good from the front. From the front, okay, he kind of looks like a puffy, I don't know, grizzly bear, okay, with fangs. He kind of looks like a squishy toy. I think that's the way I always felt about the original vintage figure. That's why I sold it, okay? And now I'm trying to get it back because, I want to get it on hand, when the Snake Man figures come in. I want to have the vintage figure on hand for the review. Yeah, so I sold it off like years ago. I did like the action feature. I kind of thought that he looks really, really puffed up from the front, okay? And I don't know, is it a snake thing? Okay, because they are consuming stuff all the time. I don't know, right? But I just felt that from the front, the guy, just looks a bit, he's just sculpted a bit weird. The version of Ratlaw that appeared in the 2002 Snake Man wave of figures, that one was really good. But they called him the General in that one, for whatever reasons. I think Mattel didn't have the rights to the name Ratlaw at the time, like 20 years after the vintage line. And then 20 years later, they got it back just in time for Origins. I guess, but yeah, that version of him was just excellent. I guess Ratlaw, the vintage style Ratlaw, like what we're seeing here, is just a character that's better when you view him from the side. Okay, when you have him like from a side angle, it's kind of like Leech. Okay, like the vintage Leech figure as well. What do you guys think? Okay, then we got the package shots for Cobra Khan, and Cobra Khan's going to be having a big year because presumably sometime later in the next couple of weeks or a few months to go, we're going to be getting an announcement of the Camo Khan exclusive of Mattel Creations. And then everyone's going to be wondering whether or not that one's going to be made to order too. My guess is probably not. And then that would raise the question as to why, okay? But, in the meantime, we've got this standard regular Cobra Khan release coming out. I think that this character is probably the most exciting looking, visually at least, from this entire wave. Definitely a fan favorite. One thing I will say though is just that, staring at him straight on like this, it kind of seems like his whole middle section, like the chest compartment area, looks really big. Okay, like it's expanded. And I know that, yeah, I mean, obviously he doesn't come with the classic water squirting feature like the vintage original, but it kind of looks like his body is built like a water tank anyway, all right? I mean, it kind of feels like, they went with this whole thing like, okay, yeah, so we're not going to make him be able to squirt water. However, his body is going to look like as though it could hold so much liquid in it. How do you like that? Okay, they also dropped the images yesterday of the brand new Snake Armor Skeletor figure that's incoming. Okay, you know what? I'm drawing a blank on this figure mostly because I never actually saw it in stores. I actually never really kept up with most of the 2002 variations. I wish I did. The problem was that back then, all the way back then, I think I talked about it in another video as well. These 2002 figures only started turning up in Malaysia like 2 years later in 2004. And when they did, it was just a limited selection. And although the Snake Man wave was primarily there in stores, and it was in fact the last wave of figures to ever be released, I don't think they brought in a lot of it. And this one apparently came in like a 2-pack. Okay, if I saw this thing in stores back in the day, I would have picked it up in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? It's like this thing came with the wolf armor He-Man. Don't ask me what a wolf armor is, right? Okay, but it was shiny because apparently there's like vac metal on it, and the set also came with a video tape. All right, I mean, when you see something coming with a video tape, okay, a video cassette, the damn thing's old. Anyway, but this thing just looks really nice to me. It appeals to me in the sense that it's just outlandish. And they also came with weapons. And as I understand it, these weapons, the shields, they all had like spring-loaded spikes in them. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. But this version of Skeletor is just really obscure with a lot of fans out there. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense for him to be in something like the Snake Man wave though. I am sort of wondering, why is Skeletor dressed up as a snake? Because, I mean, technically he's fighting the Snake Man, right? They're supposed to be enemies. So he's fighting King Hiss, but also dressed up as a snake. Maybe he's just getting to the spirit of things. I don't know. But I will say that this armor that's on him actually, it looks better. He looks better as a snake leader type character than the King Hiss Origins figure that we saw a brief glimpse of at the SDCC panel. Okay, because that one just looked, I mean, maybe we just need to see the actual thing, like more of it. But from what we saw, I mean, from what I saw actually shown to us, was kind of, just really odd, right? It's just like, unappealing, okay? But I think that Skeletor in this particular armor looks great. Only thing is just that he's on the 2002 body, which a lot of people, based off his recent release, in Wave 9, a lot of people had a problem with the figure. And I think that with all of the versions of Skeletor that we got so far in Origins, they were all like radically redesigned versions. You didn't have a situation where it was just like armor placed on an existing figure body. So like this one, it seems like it's just like, you know, all this really exaggerated armor that's just placed on the same 2002 Skeletor body from Wave 9. It seems like that's the same figure that's underneath all this. That being said, the armor is fantastic looking and it's huge. Okay, look at it even from the back here. It's like, it's really gigantic. Okay, so now, from what we're hearing, this is supposed to be a deluxe figure, all right? And I'm just wondering to myself, well, first of all, I'm wondering what's the action feature supposed to be, because deluxe figures always have action features. Is the action feature supposed to be incorporated into the shield? If so, well, it kind of looks like the, you know, the spike sections here are sculpted. So I'm really not sure. However, a deluxe figure is also supposed to come with an additional head. Now that's what really has me invested. Okay, so if it comes with an additional head, it means that probably we're gonna get an alternate 2002 head with a different portrait. Could that be the scenario? Okay, maybe this is not all that we're seeing so far. I'm not sure. Okay, so far the images that came out just shows this stuff right here, like the figure with the armor, the shield, and this green thing here that looks like some kind of a poking stick. I don't know. Is it a sword? I'm not sure. Okay, I can see how some people may feel that this particular Skeletor release is completely unnecessary. Okay, because, well, you know, it's not based off a Skeletor that's probably instantly recognizable, but it is based off a mold that was present sometime like 20 years ago in the 2002 line. I don't have that figure. I do appreciate the fact that I can now own a version of it. And for what it's worth, I actually do like this version of him. You know, you know, at the end of the day, it's still Origins. You guys know that I'm committed to this line. Okay, no matter how silly it looks, no matter how silly I think it looks, you know, I'm still gonna get it. I'm still gonna talk about it here on the channel. I'm still gonna put out the review, a high quality review of this thing in 4K. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I can't wait to do it. I'm really excited at the possibility of this thing. Yeah, actually probably coming with more parts, you know, additional stuff like an additional head, you know, since it's a deluxe figure. So yeah, you know, I mean, I like this figure. Let me know what you think of it though. All right. Let me know what you think of this release. Let me know what you think of all the other announcements that have been coming out. And I'll catch you guys again real soon right here with more content. Take care.